I want to thank you all for coming to this party for Jan. We all know her very closely, and she loved parties, and we're going to party. And I'm going to give you Tam.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. On behalf of the Webster family, I want to thank you for coming here today. It's very humbling for me to see Mom's Lake Henry Estate family. And so this is a welcome from her Webster family. So thank you for being here today. I like to introduce myself when I'm at different events, so whether I'm going to the pool or I'm out and about, and people who haven't met me ask me who I am, and I get the opportunity every time and for the rest of my life to say, I'm Jan Webster's daughter. And that is such a great honor for me. So I'm Tammy, Jan Webster's daughter. I love hearing your stories, and I love it when I introduce myself that way. Everybody smiles back at me, and everybody says, "Oh, your mom's such a hoot. We just love your mom," and they share stories with me. And so we're going to be making sure to take some time this afternoon to share her stories and to celebrate the wonderful life that she's had. This is a time for us to have reflection, but certainly to have laughter. So I wanted to start the afternoon with a story that is precious in our family, and that's the shrimp cocktail story. And when Mom was ill, all of my brothers came into town, and we were all together with her in her last moments. And we had some time together as a family back at her house. We said, we have to make sure that when we celebrate her, that we celebrate with shrimp cocktail. So my mom came from a very small burg in northwestern Washington State called Mount Baker, and very just rural. She grew up on a farming in a farming community. Her dad worked at Boeing, and her mom worked at the school. So as soon as she turned 18, she packed her things and she went to Seattle because she needed to be part of the big city. And while she was there, she met some friends, and some friends of hers had gone out and met some gentlemen one evening, and one of the gentlemen had asked her to go out on a date. And so she got all gussed up and went to a very nice restaurant of the like she'd never seen before. And as she was sitting there with this very elegant gentleman, the cocktail waitress came and asked her, "Ma'am, what kind of cocktail would you like to have for dinner?" Well, my mom didn't know anything about cocktails. She didn't know the name of a cocktail, so she said, "Well, I'll have a shrimp cocktail." And so the cocktail waitress went and got her a shrimp cocktail. Now, that gentleman never did ask her out again. But that's okay. We have the story, and I'm sure that there was great laughter for her with that. So we wanted to make sure to share that with you and to share the shrimp cocktail with you, and I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to the people who are managing the luncheon that will get our tables up and going. You can see that there's a program, and we are going to be sharing some stories later on. So if you guys can start thinking about what you'd like to share, we're going to be asking people to come to the microphone. It will just do my heart well and everybody else's heart well to hear those. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 9/11, and today it is. And we ask God's special blessings on all the people who are hurting physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. May God's special blessings be with them today and always. And Jan Webster, dear God, how kind of you to give us Jan for a few years. She had a special way about her. You know, God, she had that one-of-a-kind laugh. Anyone within hearing distance just had to smile. No doubt about it. Everyone loved her. Now it is time for you to enjoy her in heaven. We ask you, God, to bless us and our food. Let us pray together. Bless us. Let's pray together. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Okay, we're going to do this just like we do the potlucks. I'll call your number, your table number. Can you hear me? Good. Right. Okay, we have number table 4.
And the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. And the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. And the dream that you dare to, oh why can't well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands singing, how do you do?
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that wonderful luncheon. I want to make sure that we spend just a moment and say thank you to the fabulous volunteer team, Mary and her team. If you guys could stand up, Mary and Diane and Rose and Neil. It was wonderful for me to hear Vicki or Mary tell me earlier this week that she has plenty of volunteers. So, that everybody kind of came forward and said if there's anything I can do, and that's a wonderful thing. On the TV in the back here, we've been able to play a DVD that is so precious. I got a phone call just last week from Betty Winsett, who was a neighbor of Mom's for many years, who no longer is living in the community, but she had archived many of the different events that had happened here at Lake Henry that Mom was in, and she just independently put together this wonderful little video of Mom that we're playing over here as she's looking around, and there she is. She's probably already had a dessert. So no, she's that was a big old day that she had. I'm hopeful that you've noticed on the table that there are photos. There's a variety of photos. There's probably 20 or so different photos that we've chosen. You're more than welcome to take those with you when you leave today. If you see any that you enjoy, we printed those so you could have those for yourself. So that's that. I'm hoping that I'll have some volunteers for some stories. We would like to share a few of those. I know there's a few of them. It's interesting. I was going through Mom's effects. I don't think I put it on the table there, but there was this little note, and it was a note that was left for Mom after she'd gone up when she was still being a snowbird. And it was saying, "Dear Jan, thank you for letting us use your house while you were gone. We had a fantastic party. Here's all we left." Now, I don't know what was left with that note. But, a bunch of empty wine bottles. Okay, well, John can come up and tell that story. So I'm hopeful that you guys have some stories that we could share. People can raise their hands and let me know who has a great story. John's going to get us started. Should I be afraid?
Yes.
Let me just sit behind you.
As you know, Jan was my neighbor,
You need to do.
and
I don't know. Oh, yeah.
she was a real riot. Her and I and Sandy and the girls. Where's the girls at? There's one. We would go to Sweet Tomato, and that was the first run. And then we also went up to Lane's to the Chinese shop. And one time she was gone, and while she was gone, she'd been gone for about almost 2 months. So I decided, you know, we needed to do something for her. So I went and got some tape and put it over her garage door. It said, condemned. Do not enter. And then that was made up a sign and put it in the front yard that said quarantine. And it was a Hawaiian name. I can't remember what Hawaiian name we used for it, but she'd come home. Bob G brought her home that morning or that night, and it was raining, and she was standing out in the driveway, and she says, I didn't know what to do. I was just on the house. My brother got blamed for it, so that was good. Miss Jan will not lack for a meal because I still owe her. We had a thing going between us. I'd buy her birthday present as a ticket for a meal, and then she'd return. And she never collected on her meal, so she has a meal waiting for her whenever she gets back. But she was a real nice young lady, and I enjoyed her, and I'll miss her, and I'll definitely, everybody here will do it too. We will miss her laugh. That young lady had a laugh. If you couldn't laugh after she laughed, you needed to see a doctor.
On Janice's 75th birthday, I don't know how many of you were here, but Peggy Weber and Mary and the other girls, they put on a spectacular birthday party, and she was definitely a queen for the day. And she had so much fun with that. But Peggy put together a skit, and the girls had gone in and got into Jan's closet. And they had a fashion show. And she'd come walking out and she'd say, gee, I got one of those. Like again. I got one just like that. After about the third or fourth girl that came out, she says, those are my clothes. And they were. Anyway, that was one terrific day. And everybody just had a ball. A couple of other things I wanted to bring up was she was a great lifeline to a lot of us, especially me. And the last cruise, we went with her. Mary Ann Sadat went, Bob and Mary went, and she had a great time. She always did. But she won the jackpot in the slots that night. And I think everybody on the ship knew it. I kept telling her, Jan, you gotta be quiet. I'm gonna plunk you over the head. But anyway, she won the jackpot, and you couldn't have seen anybody any happier than what she was. And she came back the next day and she says, and I spent it all. And I think she did. Anyway, so we got to go on the last cruise with her, and we'll never forget that one.
Jan and I and many of the girls here who were widows at the time went on a number of cruises together. One we went on to was Australia, which we all had a wonderful time. And Jan and I roomed together. And there was a point in time when we had gone out for dinner and had a few drinks and went in a taxi cab and came back and had an after dinner drink in the hotel that we were staying at. And we went back to our rooms, and the next morning we were getting our things ready to leave the following day. Well, Janice couldn't find her passport. And we looked and looked, and we went, called the taxi cab company, went down to the, where the bar area was, and pulled out all the seats and everything. And finally we called the American consulate, and she was ready to stay for a day or two to get her passport and then meet us further on down the line. Well, it ended up that her passport was in my purse. She had left it on the table, and you never leave your passport on the table, so I didn't even look at it, and I just stuck it in my purse. Well, that was one of the things, but Jan was a delight to be with, no matter where you were. Mary and I, and Audrey, and who else, Mary, worked at Pastamori? Mary Ed.
I work there too.
Not in the Pastamori with us? No, we were up in the City Walk, in the area where the kitchen was. And there was one thing that when we went to package, you weighed everything and you numbered everything and you counted things. Well, Mary, what was it? It was pears,
something with the pears in it?
well, pear something. Well, you put like, was it 5 or 6?
It was their most expensive.
Their
dish.
most expensive dessert. And you put maybe 2 or 3. Well, Jan would put 2 and 1 in her mouth, and remember a little Lucille Ball thing. Going down the line. Well, this was Jan putting in and wrapping and in her mouth. We laughed many times about it. And she had this wonderful thing. We had a great boss. His name was Tom Gross. He was the head chef, and he treated us like queens, and he loved every one of us. But Janice was the delight, because with her laugh, you can imagine, working in the kitchen, doing different things. And she came in one day, and she says, Tom, well, we always never did call him Chef Tom when we call him Tom. And she says, you know, I'm going to bring in, I hope I say this right, Mary, bring in a bottle of effing vodka for you. And what? You know, well, none of us had ever heard of this, but this is one of the drinks she liked to have, effing vodka. And it took me a while to remember how to say that. But no, we just had a joy with her. I don't care if you were working in the kitchen, if you were scrubbing floors, if you were bowling, if you were on a plane and tired and sitting in a chair for a long period of time, Jan would always come up with something to make you laugh, and if she didn't, she laughed. And that got everybody. Yes. We all know that it was an infectious laugh that we all loved. So who else has got a good story? I know somebody. Where did he go? Rod. Come on. You can tell it.
What a lady, I'll tell you. Well, I don't know if the cord is long enough, but on this table, you'll notice a lot of different items. There's one glass there with a half a glass of wine. Jan was a connoisseur of good wine because she drank most of mine. You know, I had no chance. I mean, and what I'd like to do, here, hold it. But she drank, you know, about that much. So what I'd like to do, we got glasses of wine. We got a beer, a drink. What I'd like to do is this time is to say, pleasure knowing you, Jan. We're going to raise our glasses high. We enjoyed your laughter, your love, and all that did you for this community, really. So, I got to stop, okay? To Jan.
Yeah.
hello. I think most of you know that I put on the shows and things around here, and Jan was always in one of them. Each time, she would see me a long time ahead of time and say, I want a part in that play. So I had to make sure that she was in there. Well, we did this one that Kurt, stand up, Kurt. Come over here, tell them the story. You want me to do it or you want to do it? You do. Okay. Anyway, one time we were putting on a show and Janice and Kurt had to sing to each other. And it was Janice with big old glasses on, if some of you remember, and she did, Ma, he's making eyes at me. And so he sang it, she tried to sing the other words, and they'd get to laughing, and we never did get through that song. But I just wanted you to know that Jan was a great, great person. She would do anything you asked her to do. And she loved doing it, no matter if it was terrible. She still loved doing it. So I really appreciated her having it and doing that all for me, and I'll miss her. So one other thing, this year already, about a couple of months ago, she came to me and she said, now are you doing a Christmas show? And I said, yeah, probably. And she said, well, don't forget, I want to do the candlelight service. And I did give Tammy a DVD of her doing the candlelight service and all of that. So I do think we'll all miss her, and I know the family will, but there's a lot of us that'll miss her, just so you know, Tammy. Anybody else? Oh, okay. And Bruce did a couple of songs for me too, didn't you?
Hi, I'm Bruce, and I used to have people over for supper, and I'd cook a nice turkey. Sometimes Jen would volunteer the turkey. I'd cook it up for her. And there's this thing with olives, black olive. She loved them and I loved them. When I'm cooking a turkey, I have 3 or 4 on my finger and I'd be sucking on them. And she'd say, those are my olives. I said, no, they're not. They're mine. Anyway, I used to give her olives for Christmas present, cans of olives. And she'd give them back to me on my birthday. She's one dynamite woman I miss her. I really liked her. I call her my mother. She was more mother than my mother was. God bless you, Jen.
Those are wonderful stories, and they'll be a treasure to my family. As you can tell, we're videotaping this, and I'll be sharing this with my brothers when I go up north next month when we celebrate her. So I also want to recognize some people that are here today that are not from the Lake Henry community that were moms. And Mom's very best friend, Gloria, and Gloria's daughter are here. You've probably heard many stories with Gloria. And I know that many of their trips that they went together, they traveled the world together, several continents. Mom made it to 49 states. She never went to Kansas. Which is odd that we would have a sunflower theme, which is the Kansas state flower. But she always said that she couldn't go to Kansas because if she did, then it would be all over. But she's been to many, many continents. Japan, she's been over to England a number of times. On the QE2 you guys went. You spoke about Australia, King's Church, Tasmania, all through there. Numerous cruises with her friends here, and we had, I was able to cruise with her also with other extended family. Mom was an adventurer. One of her favorite trips, and I don't know if you have many of the pictures, and you might not know this, is about the year after my father passed away, with her good friends when she was 65 years old. She went out west for a week or so. The first night that they got out there, they spent the night, they slept in covered wagons. And then she did a 3 or 4 day trip, whitewater rafting down the Colorado River at 65. And she broke her toe. And she broke her toe, and it was cold and hot at the same time. And if you were to ask her, she would tell you all about how the bathroom situations are when you're whitewater rafting down the Colorado River with a bunch of people all around. So it was a life full of adventure and full of joy and happiness. So many blessings. So when I first started thinking about the words that I wanted to share today, and the stories, I wanted to make this list, and I did. I made a list of all the things I wanted to make sure that not only that I said today, but that I want to be remembered for. So it was a long list, and it probably wasn't that interesting. And it was probably things that you already knew about her. Mom was, Mom told her own story very well, also. So there was just a lot I wanted to say. I've been spending the last few weeks going through different rooms in the house and going through pictures and the like. And I discovered that in 2002, my niece wrote everything that I need to tell you about my mother when she wrote this story for school. And it's called My Favorite Older Friend. And my niece actually won first place in a contest. And Mom was my brother flew my mom up to upstate New York where my brother was living. And it was a front page news in the city that she was at. And so my mom went with my niece to the event that they had, and my niece read this story that I'm going to share with you. This is My Favorite Older Person, first place, Caitlin Webster. Brooks Hill Elementary School. The name of it is My Cheerful Grandma. My grandma. She's the craziest, most loving person I know. She's 67 years old and proud of it. 2 years ago, my grandma went bungee jumping. And a little less than 4 years ago, she went parasailing. One time when I was down to Orlando, Florida to visit her, she and I, and my mom and dad, went for a walk in her neighborhood. And my grandma and I ran through someone else's sprinklers. We laughed and laughed and laughed. We were so hysterical that my parents pretended they didn't know us. When we got out of the sprinklers, we were soaking wet, but it sure was fun and was definitely worth it. While I was visiting, we also went to Disney World, SeaWorld, and to see Cirque du Soleil, an amazing circus. It was a blast. Just my grandma and me watching a show one hot summer day. My grandma and I do a lot of things together in the summer. In fact, once while one summer vacation, my grandma, my cousins, and I went to Mackinac Island in Michigan. We all rode double on our bikes and later played in the sand on the warm beach. Then my grandma bought us all the best fudge and ice cream you could possibly get. Yummy. My grandma and I had so much fun that day. She really is a special person because she's always cheery, happy, optimistic, and kind, and I love her very much. She really makes me feel important and special. She also teaches me things like how to sew and knit, but most importantly, she taught me how to love and to have fun. I need her to love me, and I know that someday she won't be here anymore. But I hope that day is a long, long, long way away.
That's cool.
My mom was very proud to be part of the Lake Henry family. And she was very proud of where she lived. And she never wanted to leave. And I knew that, and that's why I knew I had to come here, because she was never going to leave here. For her to live her last days and to be part of this community. To the fact that she played cards just a week before she passed. She was up here not just giving joy to you, but also getting it back. And I think that that's what I want to remind people of, is that you are her family, and you were her family. And she was a very proud member of this community. So I know that there's going to be some more stories told, and I expect that prior to anybody else leaving, you'll have at least one more dessert. And maybe another glass of wine for Mom. But I will ask as you leave today, and as you say goodbye to myself or to other friends, and have that sharing, that you'll take a moment and take a look at Mom's table. It was put together very specifically for her. We have to have the words "love, love," because that's how she closed most of her salutations, either on the phone or in a card that she would write. That was her greetings to people. There's photos there from when she was young and older. The wine, the pasta more, her nickels. Dave, that's her nickels there, not anybody else's. Some things that we remember her for. But I would ask if you would do me a favor for my family. And we're going to watch a video before I have you leave. I'm going to ask Neil if you want to get that set up for me. Oh, by the way, this is Neil.
Hey, Neil! Not manual labor.
It's a work-study program he's in. So, I would ask that we're going to watch a video, and it's one my son put together, just of some photos that were shared by many different people here, and I want to thank you all for those. But as you leave today, if you could just rest your hand on her box there, and I know that she left handprints on all of your hearts, and I would ask you to leave your handprint with us on her box. So next month when I take that up north to be with my family, I can bring you with me, and so her whole family can be together. Thank you. There'll be a prayer card sitting over there for you to pick up when you leave. All right, now this is technology at its finest. And it only plays on the one video, so I do apologize for this.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill
way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dare to, oh why can't I? Upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dare to, why, oh why can't I?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself,